Or could you say, this is really a great dinner and I see how much work you've put into it. And I just like a little more salt to my food. So I'm going
No,
to add
no,
some.
if I said that, it's offensive. I can't.
Mm.
That's why
It
you
Mm.
omit it and you just get up and go get your salt.
well, apparently. But again, I view that as not being genuine. Katie, that's the whole issue. It's
Exactly.
not about us.
6 Ks in a month, we're done being quiet, breaking all the rules, starting up a riot, raw and real, no scripts to read. This is the honesty that women need.
Welcome back to our podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. Just a refresher, we're 6 biological sisters raised by the same parents in the same household. But in our household, you could say we were probably all loved in different ways. So today, since it's before Valentine's Day, we decided we're going to discuss the 5 love languages. So we're going to break down these love languages of word, time, gifts, actions, and touch, and give our opinions. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Who wants to start?
Okay. So that was your explanation of them.
Yeah, because word, which is, words of affirmation, time is spending time with them, gifts is giving them gifts, actions is, people of service, and then touch is, the men who like to be touched.
Jesus, Kate.
Notice how she says the men.
Well, because when I read about it, it said like 80% of
Most
men are
men.
touched.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it gave reason, like, growing
and
up
acts
and-
of service. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go first. So my well, as I said, you could be a mix of all of them, right? You don't necessarily aren't like always one. But my top one was quality time. And that did not surprise me at all. And so when I was trying to think about it, I'm like, I was trying to do like a today view of it and like where does this stem from when it comes to my childhood view of it. And something I was thinking was like, I wonder if it's quality time because when we were growing up, we really didn't get a lot of like one-on-one quality time. It was sort of like, don't you feel like it was like competing for time at times or, it's such a
Well, there were
large
just a lot of
household.
people.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like, I don't know. But I was also excuse me, thinking of the family, like, I think I enjoy spending quality time with my family members, my spouse, friends. So I was not surprised by that, I guess, is what I'm saying. That made sense to me
Yeah.
as far as like sounded like me. Trying to think if there's anything interesting. So it's the quality. Did anybody else have quality time? Just curious. No?
I don't
No.
think
Did
that was
everyone
my
actually
first
take a
one.
test?
Oh, nobody took a test?
I tried to take it again, but they all want money.
I would say mine is quality time too. I didn't take a test, but I'm confident that's what it would show.
I find that funny
Yeah.
that you two are quality time when you two probably have the most individual time out of all of us.
Oh, from mom and dad?
Yeah.
I would say though that mine
Mm.
has changed over time. I feel like when I was younger, it probably would have been gifts, but I feel like as I've gotten older, it's definitely shifted to quality time.
That's what I was thinking, even as I was reflecting, right? It definitely changes over time and depends on your impact, right? I would say that I could see myself being more physical touch when I was younger, you're dating, you're first married, that kind of thing. And, it morphs over to other things when you recognize that that isn't the most important thing in the whole mix, right?
I don't think
So for
it's like
sure.
importance though. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's
Well,
probably
primary, right?
yeah,
It's not the primary thing. You're
yeah.
right. Importance might not be the right word.
Right, cuz like if somebody's love language is gifts, I don't think that means that they're a selfish, gift, I think it just kind of stems from like how you prefer
Oh,
to receive love. Well,
I think the gift
I
is
think it's just
more about if they put thought and love into the gift, not they just
Right.
bought you something
Right.
to buy you
Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or thought of you at a time when maybe you didn't expect them to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. But trying to think if there was anything else with quality time that stuck out with, I mean, I think about like just I enjoy just going in, like my husband and I like to go walk or go do, just like you don't have to be doing something crazy, you know. Just being
Yeah.
together, present. But I also found it funny. I told I told this to my husband too. I'm like, it says that I appreciate when people are like connected during that quality time and like, you have their full attention. And I'm like, so I was having some awareness that I can be, locked into my telephone or whatever at times. And so I'm like, I will have some more awareness around that because, he tells me I'm attached to my phone all the time. So,
That's funny. We were driving home from the soccer game and Mario was trying to talk to me about something and he looks over at me and he's like, "Did you just hear anything that I just said?" And I was like, I rambled off some of it. He's like, "You heard it, but you did not listen to me." Same thing. I was like scrolling on my phone. I'm like, sorry. Probably true.
Little bit of ADD there.
I just, I don't know. Like, I feel like in all aspects of my life, I'm really good at like, I don't want to say pretending that I'm listening, but I am not really listening. Like, you could have a whole thing and I could, like, you come back and ask me, and I have no idea what you just said, honestly. Like, I
I
don't
think
know
it's a
how.
Voelker trait. Don't you, Chris? I know you have this.
I do.
Is
I
it like
do.
something that other people don't do? Like, and I catch myself doing it. I do it at work. Like, I do, like, I'll just be like, yeah, And then, like, I'm like, I have no idea what they just said. Like,
Do you think it's like I feel like I spend a lot of time in my head. And so my husband will point that out of like same thing, like you're not listening to what I just you're nodding and you're saying you're listening, but you could not repeat back to me what we just talked about, which is true. But I do it's like it's almost like I got so much chatter in my head sometimes that it's hard to be like physically present. So,
absolutely. I would agree with that. I feel like I'm constantly thinking and like analyzing and prepping my response. Yes.
When okay, so I want to say this, but we're totally getting off topic. And since I have to edit it, but I think it comes down to presence. We have a hard time with presence, like being present, like being like, here's
Literally,
the
as
window
Kathy
here. Yeah.
gets up and walks away.
Sorry. I realized my light was off. I was kind of dark.
Good thing
I heard about Chris saying we have problems being present. So I was listening.
you
Just
left.
flipped my
And you
light up.
left.
but
And
we
you
do.
left.
So wait, go back to that. So what were you saying that we have problems being present?
Yes. And present just means like, if you're sitting in your room and you're like, okay, there's the light, there's the speaker, there's the camera, there's the keyboard, like you're present, like you actually know and I think sometimes we're off. We're out of, we're not present. We're out of our body.
We're floating from thing to thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Why
for
is
sure.
that though? Like
I
why?
I started following this woman on Instagram who's amazing, and she's talking about how um we are so trained to like constantly be busy and go from like the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, and there's
Yep.
something like we feel like and when I say we, just I know I feel this way, but like there's something wrong if you're just sitting there taking in, like she talks about the morning and the morning routine, and we're constant like we're rushed, we rush here, we rush there, we're constantly rushing. And she talks about just slowing down your nervous system, and it's like this nervous system, almost like the inability to like self-regulate and slow down your nervous system. And it so resonated with me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like yes, like just be okay just being.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I struggle
I
with that.
totally agree. I think that was a big thing in retirement, right? Because think about at work, right? We are rewarded, and maybe not with cash or, but intrinsically we're rewarded for getting things done and crossing things off and staying productive and moving things forward, right? So when you don't have to do that, or it's not the focus, you don't know how to behave. You don't really know how to do that, right? You have to, at least I have to, consciously think about that, right? Or get some help figuring out how to do it effectively. Because, yeah, if I go through a day and I don't get a lot done, I'm like, oh, what a failure of a day. But it
Mm,
really isn't, you know?
I don't know. I think that's different than what they're saying.
I say, yeah, I don't feel that way. But like even in therapy, I will be sitting there, we will be talking about something, and I am very aware of the fact that in my head I am like, I don't know, like she'll be like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "I'm thinking about this, this, and this." Like I'm not actually listening to him. I'm not actually like I'm like, I don't know.
Oh
Well,
my
I
gosh.
saw this
I
thing
find myself
recently,
wandering off.
which I thought was very true. And it talks about these younger generations and the technology change that they experienced, where us older people who grew up in the 70s and 80s, we learned how to self-regulate. There was nothing to do in the 70s and 80s, so you just made time and you were okay laying on your floor staring at your ceiling listening to music. You were good with
But I
that.
can relate to what Katie's talking about. My brain
Right.
does what Katie's talking about.
Yeah, but it's like different. And I mean, it was so interesting, this thing I watched, and they were talking about how the nervous system and how people born in the 70s and 80s can regulate their nervous system so much better than these younger generations, because we grew up at a time where we did get bored. Kids today don't know what it is to be bored. They have no clue. They're running from one sporting event to the other, to music class, to this, to I mean, everyone has their kids so scheduled. No one lets their kid get bored anymore. So then when they are bored, the nervous system goes in overdrive and the anxiety starts and they're like, I got to do something. And I thought it was very interesting because I can see that
Yeah.
in a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
I've read that too, and I agree with that. But I'm with Kelly. Like I don't. That's not what it is from I don't know what it is. And I am curious if like this is just like an us thing. Does this happen to other people? Like but you're right, Chris. It comes down to the fact that when all this stuff is going on in my brain, I am not present. Like,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know how to I don't know
okay,
how
and
to
the taskmaster in me says this is good conversation, but we
Keep it
gotta
moving.
get back to
All
our
right, so
love
then I think it's your
language.
turn.
Okay. Um, I will say that I agree with Kim that things have changed over time, because definitely acts of service, I think, would have been my for sure, which it still is. But I think I'm also becoming a little bit more strong in words of affirmation, and I'm not
Mhm.
quite sure why, but it just seems like, you know, I don't know. Is it that I'm hitting the point in life where I'm just reflecting on all that you've given to everybody else, and now it's time to maybe think about, hmm, I'd like to be appreciated for that or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I feel like that one's starting to stick out for me a little bit more. Um, and I do agree for sure that guys, the physical touch, and I was reading as I was preparing for this that as they get older, that one tends to get stronger. And I was like, really? Because I sort of
Interesting.
feel like it's the opposite for me. So this is interesting. Yeah, yeah.
So you said words of affirmation. Is that right?
I'm still acts of service, but words of affirmation is starting to speak louder than it has in the past. And I'm not
Okay.
quite sure why, but I did have that awareness,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I'm totally like you, Kelly. Exactly. I think my prominent one is acts of service with people that I know and am close to. And I
Mm-hmm.
recognize that the words of affirmation are with people who I'm not, but I'm more tuned into a dialogue with them versus doing the acts of service.
Mm.
So I'm exactly the
Interesting.
same as you.
I would say that's kind of where I fall as well. And I think it's more aligned with Kelly in that, I sort of naturally do these acts of service because my intent is to show folks, that I care about them and I'm trying to help them either resolve or move forward or whatever their issue is, right? Through these acts of service. And then I kind of step back and I think, well, am I doing something positive or am I in the way? You know what I mean? And I'm trying to
Mhm.
figure it out
Mhm.
because I'm so sometimes fixated on fixing that I can try to overcompensate. So just, being mindful of that and stepping back and looking for those words of affirmation to say, yes, this is helpful. Please keep doing it. Or no, get out. you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
So
Yep.
I think it's a combo for me too. Whereas, maybe 10 years ago, it was acts of service and I don't care what you think. I'm just going to help you.
Yes.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
And
Yeah.
it's really interesting when you have a spouse who is not the same as you are, who can be a really good lens to say to you, "Are you sure you need to do that? Are you doing this for yourself or are you?" And it just
Yes.
makes you go, "Hmm,
Yes.
okay."
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
So Kimmy, you were saying, so I understand. So sometimes you 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 evaluate whether acts of service turns into like overgiving.
Or misguided giving, you know?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Am I doing it really because it is an act of service, or am I doing it because I'm being controlling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
For sure.
Yeah, that's hard to discern sometimes.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned before fixing things, which Kim just mentioned again, and I think that at least the first 5 of us have this desire to fix things, and I don't know if Carrie and Katie, you feel as strongly about that or not.
Not like you guys.
I say I have a desire to be in control, not to necessarily fix things.
Mm.
Got
Kath,
it.
do you think you're a fixer?
No.
No?
Maybe it's just the 3 oldest.
Yeah. I don't know.
We need
Remember,
some
I'm the
therapy.
quiet one who sits in the corner. I don't fix nothing.
I run.
Yes, you you ru
I go disappear. Or no, actually I think I freeze. I don't think I run. I think I freeze. I think that's what I
I
do.
think you freeze too. I don't think you run.
I think mine's
Yeah.
gotten interesting. Mine used to be acts of service, but I think as I'm getting old, it's turning more into like time because I like to have more experiences with my kids and stuff than just doing stuff for them. Like if we're gonna
Mhm.
spend time together, let's go do something type of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
definitely think quality time plays a role big time as you get older. You see that there's more behind than in front of, and it frames everything you do, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hence the whole decision to move back home. You start thinking about things and you're
Well,
like, "Oh, yeah."
but I think too, like we're blessed because I don't know, not everybody I know likes to spend time with their family. Um
For
and I
sure.
guess quality time with like, I guess choosing who you spend the quality time with, but um I think that we even like, trying to plan the vacations together and all that type of stuff, like um I think that is something that we, personally I'm grateful for because I don't know that everybody necessarily has that or wants to have that. um
Oh, for sure. For sure, Bear.
so
Like, Deb's family has been at the, um, beach for 35, 36, 37 years. And, to have something like that within your core group of family, I agree with you. It's a blessing. It's absolutely a
Mm-hmm.
blessing.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's also changed as our family's gotten older because I remember that Florida Disney trip, and after we did that, people were like,
never
"No
again.
more family trips for a
Well,
while."
there were a lot of little children then, weren't there?
No, not really, but I just feel like it was
It
just,
was a
it
lot
was
to
hard.
navigate. Yeah.
It was a lot to navigate, and I also think it sort of just depends on, Deb's family's super fortunate in that they can all do it. They can make it work. I mean, I think that's a big thing, right? We had kids at different places and different times. And I know for a long time we wanted to try to include everybody, which there's 7 of us. We got
Mhm.
lots of kids. Was it
Mhm.
realistic? And I think when we just let go and said, this is a sibling thing. If y'all want to come, great. But this is really a sibling thing. And that's who it's important to get together. I think we were far more successful, you know, because
Yeah,
there's a
and
lot of
yeah, and in respect to Deb's family too, I mean, what you have to remember is that, for lack of a better word, they were all almost trained into it.
Yeah.
Like, this
They've
is the
been
week
doing
yeah,
it
as a
forever.
family.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So again, that
right.
that doesn't take away from any of the desire to be there,
Oh,
but to
Mhm.
right.
your point, once you have different families and different kids and you're trying to pull them all together, then that becomes more
Hard.
complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right when you said, "I wanna spend quality time with my siblings, and this is the way the vacation is being constructed, and if you wanna be there, great, and if you don't, fine." Then it all seems to come together.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a blessing too. I think we're lucky that we like each other. We like to hang out with each other, you know.
Well, we might not always like each other, but we love each other. Kath, what are you?
What'd you say?
What are you? Did you already say what you said you were acts of service?
I feel like I was acts of service when I was younger and growing up, hence being a nurse. And then just as I've gotten older, it's changed to time and quality time and having, you know, like even at Christmas, the kids really didn't want gifts this year. They were like, let's do something more of an experience. So that's why I got them all tickets to go to the Lion King this summer and
Mhm.
just stuff like that. So we spend time together.
Well, that is interesting, right? Because our kids are younger. They're in a different generation, but mine, same thing. Like we're playing whirly ball and we're going to plays and, things like that. Whereas, it certainly wasn't the way it was maybe 5, 7 years ago, right? So it's an interesting shift for them as well.
Well, and I wonder how much too of this world we live in now has affected them to where they can't afford shit. And, like even around the holidays, like, don't get me gifts. I don't need anything else, but let's go do something type of thing.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. I am sure the world influences this in ways that, we don't probably understand in the moment, but
Hmm.
certainly does.
Okay, so if I read this statement to you, I'm curious just tell me what your thoughts are after this. So, love languages are not demands, they are translations. Means people are not asking for more love. They are asking for love to be expressed in a way that they can actually feel and understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of to me, I was thinking about it as I was going through it. You know how there's the disc profile. This is how I behave, at work or whatever. It's a behavioral assessment. Are you a dominant director? Are you a person who when you're under stress, you exhibit certain traits, right? And the intention of that exercise and understanding what you are is so that you can understand what others are and you can lead them or work with them on a team or do something with them in a way that they can understand and sort of align with, right? And I feel like this is the same thing. If I'm an acts of service person and Lou is a physical touch person, well, then I better understand that I got to do the physical touch thing so he understands, oh, yeah, I still love you. And here's how I'm going to show you, you know, because I'm not going to expect him to do acts of service. That is not his thing, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a translation or a understanding of how other people
receive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not always easy to keep the whole love language concept in mind,
Oh,
if
for
Oh,
you get
heck
what I
sure.
no.
mean, you know?
Yeah.
Because your natural behaviors, right?
Right. Right.
I was just going to say that sometimes, like, the trap that I can get into is, well, because I want mine expressed this way, then you should want yours expressed this way. And you should know how I want mine expressed. So, to your point, Kelly, it does get a little
Mhm.
difficult
And
sometimes.
especially when I recognize I am not a good communicator about emotions at all. That
Shut up.
definitely Yeah, I know.
Shut the
Oh,
Um, I can feel them, but I do not communicate about them very well at all. And um, that's how do you work on that without going
right.
to years of therapy and digging deep, you know? So I
What?
try to have an awareness, but there's still the issue for sure.
Well, and it would be helpful, and I don't know if Mike is in a place to do that, but when you have a spouse that can ask you, okay, what are you feeling, or what's inside, or try to help on a daily basis guide it out of you, then it just becomes easier. It's kind of a practice, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because let's be honest, being in a lesbian relationship probably makes that a little bit easier because there aren't
For
many
sure.
men that are like, "How are you
Tell me what
feeling
you're
right now,
feeling
babe?
inside.
Tell me about" right,
Yeah.
like, it ain't happening.
Well, there are
Hmm.
men that are like that, but they tend to be our good friends instead of
Well, so
our
maybe it doesn't
spouse.
necessarily have to be your spouse then. If you have somebody in your life who can help mirror that to you.
It was interesting. I came across this post on Pinterest about 20 questions to ask each other while you're lying in bed at night to create greater connection. And I was like reading them going, oh, wow. Like, I suppose that is a good time to maybe ask questions like this because it's quiet, no interruptions, and your phone isn't there. And so I'm putting that one in the back of my mind to perhaps pursue.
What kind of questions were they?
I wish I had them up on my screen right now. Things like, what could I do differently during the day to make you feel more loved? Or, you know, pretty, I don't want to say intimate questions, but deeper questions than you typically have during the course of a average day, you
Yeah.
know?
I just like, how many of your spouses like, if I asked my husband that, he'd be like, I don't know." Like, I don't know. Would your
Yeah, but
Well,
spouse
honey,
want you to do
yeah.
that?
It's also sort of just the acceptance of the fact that you're on the same team. Because sometimes your lives get so crazy and it's like, well, you didn't do this. Well, you didn't do this. Well, you're not doing this the way I would do it. You're not,
Mm-hmm.
you're like not on the same team. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even having some kind of confirmation that affirms, hey, we're on the same team. Let's talk about how we can do this in a way that is more of a partnership and not so, picky at each other or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Like when they load the dishwasher and they may not have done it the way you would have done it, but they did it. So it's like, thank you, you know?
Yeah,
Like that.
right.
So
Exactly.
simple, but
Yep.
that
When they squeegee the shower door that you squeegee every time you get out of the shower and they do it and you're like, "Hey, thanks for squeegeeing that."
Oh, look, here's the questions right here. I found them on my
Or they
phone.
do something and they have to point out that they did it.
right. Yeah.
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 You have
Yeah.
to say, "Thank you so much." Those are
Like
words of
that.
Maybe
affirmation.
their love language is words of affirmation and they need your
Yeah.
recognition.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
Like
totally think it
or
is very
acts
much
of
aligned with
yeah.
physical
Right.
touch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because the thing I read talked about how the one thing men lacked were words of affirmation from their mothers and physical touch from their mothers. And I thought that's very interesting.
Oh, I give my boy all kinds of love
I know,
and
I do too. So yeah.
But the average person,
well, and I do think there's been a societal shift.
Yes.
right.
But you know how mom used to always tickle us? And like we've got this thing with being tickled or like I it it was like insane to me that not everybody experienced that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, your mom didn't like tickle your arm or like, tickle you while you're laying down going to sleep. And not everybody got tickled, And so I'm serious. Like that, I just assumed that was like, and I even to this day, like I love it if someone just like tickles my back or tickles my arm and it was just like this interesting awareness for me, like, hey, not everybody experienced that. So
It's because
Mhm.
Mom likes to be tickled. I do.
yeah.
I think she said
Uh-huh.
she liked it when she was young. My favorite is this spot on your
Yeah, make
arm
sure
when
you
they
give
get
her
like
some tickle.
obsessed.
But even like regulating your nervous system kind of goes back to this whole like
Right.
like constantly go go go. I was watching something where they talked about like how do you bring yourself out of that like, I feel like I frequently find myself in this fight or flight mode where I'm like adrenaline, I guess. And they talked about like pressing on the soft part of the bottom of your chin and like humming, and it's supposed to like connect your vagus nerve and like sort of like immediately calm your nervous system down.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm like, maybe the tickling does something like that too. Just helps calm you.
Mhm.
Sure.
I
Sure.
feel like
For
that's our
sure. Yes.
blankets. Like just that for
Yeah.
me, like and I see it in my kids. Like, and it's funny because I feel like my kids, and I mean, I tickled them, but I feel like it starts so young that like more Hattie than Hunter, but like they like to be tickled.
A lot
But I
of
feel
the
like
self-stim behaviors in autism kids are for that very reason. It's to help settle their nervous system and it's helping to regulate them. Even though it might drive the rest of the world crazy at times, it does serve a purpose. So, I
Like
mean, you
calms
think of,
them.
yeah, the humming, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
definitely there's a connection between the humming and the vagus nerve that does help to just settle things. So, there's science behind it
Isn't there like overstimulation a lot of times? Like it's like certain
for
things
sure.
are overstimulating. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I found the list of 20 deep questions to ask your partner at night.
Give us like a couple.
This
What are
might
a
be a
couple
whole
Just
good
nother
know
ones?
podcast.
it's on Pinterest. What's something you wish I understood better about your heart?
Ooh, that's a good
Mhm.
question.
It's a deep
Mhm.
Yeah.
one.
Now,
Ask
to your
that to
Mhm.
point,
your
though,
husband tonight and let us know how that goes.
Well, that's what
I
I'm saying.
will.
Like, will your husbands really play into this? Like, if you ask them, do you think they'd answer you truthfully? Like,
I think mine
Depends on
would.
their
But
mood.
again,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a generational thing. I
see,
think he
mine would
would
laugh at
now.
first.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I feel like they'd be like, "What?" Like,
Well,
Yeah.
it might take
Right.
a minute to ease into it, but I think if you like kept
Right.
at it, you'd get something, Kate.
I do
Right.
too.
Katie, you have to ask Mario that tonight. I'll be interested to know.
I'll
Yeah,
record
you
it.
ask him and you report back to us.
Yeah, I can see it now.
I'll do the same and I'll let you know, Kate.
Yeah. I know his answer will be something inappropriate. That's what
Well,
it'll come down to. Come
that's
back to
typical
his
as
love
well.
language of physical touch.
But that would be the same thing I would have told you about my husband 10 years ago. Absolutely. It would have,
Yeah.
yes.
Mario will
It
tell
would have
you
gone
my
right
heart
to
is beating well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I don't
Other
know.
questions. Give us a few more.
Yeah, what's another
Oh, you want a
question?
few more? Okay,
Yeah.
here's another one. What does feeling safe with me mean to you?
Well, that has
Mhm.
definitely changed with time, hasn't it?
Mhm. Yeah. And then I'll give you one more. Let's see. Hmm. What do you hope we never lose as a couple? That one's a little less deep that they should be able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
answer.
That one I feel like, yes, is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
We'll start with that
So
one,
maybe you
Kate.
just need to reorder the questions and work your way up, you know? Yeah, you could email those out, maybe even post them because others might want to read that list too. Okay. We could do that.
It'd be a good Valentine's Day for people to do.
Right. When you're out at dinner or
Ask these questions.
I definitely think though, and maybe, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. If you don't, I didn't know about love languages, right, until the book came out and people started talking about it. I mean, it makes a ton of sense to me. Once you know it, you hear it, you understand it. And so you almost feel a little bit ill-equipped that you probably misunderstand people, right?
Mhm.
Long
For
for a
sure.
long time before you really understand it. So as I do with everything, because I'm constantly paving the way for my children,
Mm.
I send it to them in an email or I send it to them via Instagram or wherever I happen to see something to say, hey, check this out now. Save yourself from not knowing like I did for so long. Because I think the awareness matters, right? Even if you're not perfectly executing on all the aspects of it, just
Mhm.
knowing. And Katie or Carrie, we were in the gym. I don't think you were there this week, the day we talked about it. But Adam was there and Larry and all those guys, and we were talking about love languages and what people were. And it was very interesting just to even see them talk about what they were and how they connected to it. It was very interesting. So I
I bet
think
it was.
awareness matters, right?
Yeah.
So, but Kim, to your point though, do you kind of think that like generational expectations, so let's take Adam versus you, kind of in a way kind of shapes what you think love is?
I mean, my gut instinct is for sure, just
Mhm.
because you think about everything differently as you evolve, right?
Mhm.
So I'd say my gut instincts are yes, but I bet you there's some natural component in it based on just your personality that probably stays pretty true over time, right?
Sure.
Because like Carrie said, I agree there's lots of these that play into how you react to things or what your real love language
I think
is.
it's interesting that guys were even talking about it because I think if it were a conversation that my husband were there for, he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" You know?
Yes, I mean, right, and Larry and Adam clearly knew about it, they understood it, and they were talking about what theirs was. Now they're like Carrie's age, so it's a little bit different generation, right, than
Yeah.
mine. Because I would agree if Lou was there, he'd be like, "What? What are you talking
I
about?"
don't know. I think it's like life experience too, don't you? Like, yes,
Yeah.
generationally, but I also think like it's all the experiences you pick up along the way too that might
Well, for
shape it
sure.
as well. So,
Yeah. But just the awareness of it, I think Kelly was talking about Mike isn't even aware of it, neither is Lou. I don't think he
Yeah,
might
but
have
I think
heard of
some of
it.
that does comes from, like, society and social media and internet, like,
yeah,
this information is more readily
how
available,
dialed in
pops
you
up
choose to
or
be.
right, like, it
Yeah.
pops up
Right,
on your feed while you're scrolling, like, I
right,
think you're just exposed to it, whereas back then, you didn't have
right.
all that.
And I wonder if they use it in, like, the pre-Cana stuff and the marriage counseling stuff they do today for people getting
Doubt
married. You
it.
don't think so?
No.
I'll have to
No.
ask Adam and Jackie. I mean,
I
they're the most
feel
recent
like
ones I
when
know.
when we saw Francis, we had to take some kind of test that, like, asked about different things.
We took a test too, but it wasn't like about your love language. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll have
I
to
feel like
see.
ours was more like, who would you expect to, like, maintain the house, and who would you I don't know, like, those things.
That sounds like roles.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
again, what are
exactly.
they going to
Yeah.
do if you fail miserably? To sit you both down and say, I don't think you two should get
You
married.
should probably rethink this union.
Okay, so I have another question. So
Yes.
is there, out of the 5 love languages, is there a love language that you're trying to get used to or like or feel comfortable with or
Words of affirmation for me.
Hmm, hmm,
Um,
Yeah, I think me too. I would agree
yeah,
with that.
because I
hmm.
think that my husband's a real sensitive human being on the inside. And I think, well, definitely physical touch, but I think it's like physical touch and words of affirmation
That's what mine is.
Yeah. So for me, as we discussed at the start, like we're so awesome with those talking about how we feel. I think it's remembering to, while I might be thinking that I'm saying these things or thinking that I'm doing these things, I don't know that I'm always doing them, but I might be thinking that I'm doing them. So, I would like to be better at that. I think I could be better at pointing out what needs to be fixed versus, you know,
I
the
yeah, I need to
positives.
be genuine.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah, I would say quality time, kind of going back to what Katie mentioned with the cell phone and the brain, going off in different places, like just truly focusing and being present in the moment,
Yeah.
and staying present, definitely. That for sure is mine too. Like I have
and
the same.
especially if you're in a situation where it's not something you're really interested in, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
you're there maybe supporting the one you love or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really hard.
I just did it, guys. I don't know what we're talking about. Like, oh, I zoned out, and I think
Zoned away.
I'm lost.
We were asking if there was one love language that you're trying to like or get used to, or something that's not yours, but you're trying to try it on, see how it feels, that kind of
Get
thing.
better at it.
Yeah, get better at it if that's
Why?
possible.
I feel like
I
it's
could
like
well,
defeats the
because I
purpose
think
of a love language. Like it's not
Well,
something you
because
like
it might
try
be the
and
love language that your spouse operates off of. And so you're
right,
trying to maybe
right.
like, give and
Or a
take there.
friend
so
or a
trying to get better at expressing someone else's love language
no,
versus like
or accepting it, like to carry, like if that's their love language and it's so foreign to you, but you're like, oh, well, this is how they do it. But wow, I would have never done it this way. That kind of thing. Like, does that make
mm,
sense?
yeah, I struggle with that. I do. Like,
We all do.
well, like I did hear Carrie say, like, outside of the physical touch, the words of affirmation. I find it so interesting how similar, like, is this just a general population men thing or just amongst our husbands thing? Because I agree, like, anytime my husband cooks dinner and I don't praise the dinner or I make a comment like this could use a little more salt, you would think that I just like insulted him beyond, like
Yep.
that's where I think those words of like, "Oh, this is wonderful." Like I guess the solution is I have to lie to make him feel good.
Well,
It's
or
not
Did you hear
lying.
me
finding.
say be genuine?
It's picking your
Yeah.
battles.
But what am
Like
I exact but what am I
acknowledging.
okay, so what being genuine is saying like, "Listen, it's not bad, but it could use more salt," but that's
So
offensive
you
to him.
say to
So like
him, "Oh no, it's really pretty good. Thanks." And you get up and you go get the damn salt and add more to it.
Right. And you just don't say
so
anything about the
exactly.
salt.
Okay, not lie, but withhold information.
There you
Like,
go.
Yes.
Or
Omit.
could you say this is really a great dinner, and I see how much work you've put into it, and I just like a little more salt to my food, so I'm going
no,
to add
no,
some.
if I said that, it's offensive. I can't.
But what
That's why
about
you
like, thank you
omit it
so much.
and you
Yeah.
just get up and
Yeah.
go get your salt.
Well, apparently.
Or thank you so
But
much,
again,
babe, for dinner.
I view that as not being genuine because to me, being genuine is saying like I don't know, I'm not personally offended by that. If he's like, this sucks, like I don't take it as
Katie, that's the whole issue.
exactly,
It's not about us.
Right.
exactly. Well, like
You're
I
a
said, I still struggle with
Scorpio. I understand what you're saying. I get it. Take my 22 additional years of knowledge and just be quiet and put the salt on.
Wait, are you and
Okay.
Katie the same sign? Are you and Katie the
Yes.
same sign?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're Scorpios.
We begin
Okay.
and end with the same sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Okay.
It does say physical touch and acts of service are often cited as common love languages for men alongside quality time. So, I don't know. I would just say thank you so much for the dinner and omit the whole salt situation. That's what I would
Mhm.
say. because I think they're truly looking for the acknowledgement that they made you dinner. Or like that goes back to the dishwasher, right? Loaded the
Yeah.
dishwasher. Maybe you didn't do it the way I would have done it. Made the bed.
Even though it's chores you do every day, if the man does it for you, you have to acknowledge it.
Squeegee
Well, but
the shower
what's
door.
interesting though is I think, Katie, what you're trying to say though is a part of you feels like you're lying.
Right. Like, I don't like, so am I supposed to be, because like you said, Kim, being genuine, like that feels inauthentic to me. So like,
Sure.
where do you draw the line of like, not
Well,
being true to yourself?
Even if I'm eating a good meal, if I need a little more pepper or salt, I'm going to put it on there. It might still be good.
Listen, if I don't react, like it is the best thing. Like even if I don't say anything, but he's like, "How's dinner?" and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I can't.
How about trying this? The next time he makes dinner, just sit down, start taking a few bites and say, "Hey, Mario, this is really good." Done.
Well,
or
what if it's
or
not?
thank you so much for taking the time to make dinner for us. Period. End of story. But listen, I had a
That's
No,
an
what's
act
the
of
other
service
problem?
that he's doing for you.
right. So you can just acknowledge that he took the time to do that because it's just
But
like
again,
like
because that's not my love language, like I'm like, I would have been okay not eating dinner.
Well, but right, but
But
that's what we're trying to talk about is that understanding that people have different love languages and trying to
I-
know that.
but my point is, I struggle.
yeah, fair. That's very fair.
But
Very
yeah.
fair. But let me tell you something. When I made cookies with our mother and I sat there and listened to her tell me the right way and wrong way to do everything, it was like this light bulb moment of like, holy crap, that's what I sound like to my husband. And I don't like that. I don't like how that sounds. I don't appreciate it. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I do to him. Like, cause there's a right way to do things. And I'm like, it was like very eye-opening for me. So
And it
I'm
happened in the
trying.
kitchen.
Yeah, I'm trying. But it's
Apparently, I need some perspective then. Maybe then I would.
yeah.
We should talk, Carrie. Katie, I could probably save you lots of money on therapy. Lots of money.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And it's okay,
Yeah.
Kate. It's okay to realize that, hey, I'm not good at it. It's okay. It's all right.
So I think that what our episode has kind of talked about is the fact that, yes, it's Valentine's Day coming up soon, but there is this concept out there of 5 love languages that if you've never looked up and you want to feel that you can communicate better with someone that you love, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a partner, or whatever, family member, maybe check out the 5 love languages and see if it helps. I know there are quizzes that you can take online that I came across that were not, you didn't have to pay for them.
Mhm.
And you can always just Google search the 5 love languages and find lots of information about it. And it's interesting. And I do think it helps to give you perspective from another person's point of view that maybe you didn't think about initially.
For sure. I definitely think more information about people and what's important to them or what they like is good stuff, right? No matter how you get it, and can
Right.
help you have better relationships. So definitely worth checking out.
Thanks for hanging with the sisters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the love because every story sounds better on 6Ks and a mic.